and welcome to Just Another Nerdy Podcast. I'm Jay.
I'm Drake.
Nick.
All right, today we are discussing quite a bit of stuff, but first, a little social media business out of the way. If you want, you can check us out on Twitter. We've got quite a Twitter following now. We're up to over 150 Twitter followers.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
Holy cow.
Yeah, we're growing. And then you can see our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter. We've got buttons down below if you want to click on that. Or if you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us, you can. There's also going to be the links in the description down below. We're also you can watch whatever on YouTube later on. We also break this down into bites and stuff, so this is a little heavy for you. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube. We'll have bites of this being put out. And then if you just want to listen to us, but you want to put us in your ear and you don't feel like using up your data on YouTube, feel free to download us on iTunes and Google Play. We're on all of your devices then. And you can put a little nerdy in your pocket. So...
We're on iTunes? Really?
Yeah, we're on iTunes.
That's nuts.
Yeah, we're on iTunes and Google Play. So feel free to check us out in those locations. We got buttons down below for everything, or it's gonna be in the description down below. So check us out. Check us out. Okay. So, figure we will start with the biggest thing this week. Stan Lee passed away on Monday, November 12th. That was just a little bit ago for us.
I think we were here.
Yeah, we were in the middle of watching Hitchhiker's Guide when we found out, and then my sister decided to continuously throw salt on the wounds by sending me Facebook messages about the whole thing, and we were like, no, which made it really hard. It would be like if in the middle of the podcast if we did it in the middle of the podcast, it would be far more interesting, I think. But yeah, so Stan Lee passed away. So supposing you've been living under a rock, is that Chris there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chris. Supposing you've been living under a rock and you just don't know who Stan Lee is. First of all, it is Stan Space Lee, not Stanley. He is the creator of basically all the best Marvel stuff.
That's how Kirby says it. Jack Kirby. Always call him Stanley.
Stanley.
Yeah.
Stanley. Yeah, he worked with Jack Kirby too on all these characters. But Stanley, Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Fantastic Four, basically the Avengers, X-Men, you name it on the Marvel side, Stan Lee's at least had his hands in it. He's also that random guy that keeps showing up in every single Marvel movie you've ever seen. That's Stan Lee. My wife, if you're like my wife, because she basically said, like, hey, did you hear about that guy that died? It was like Stan Lee, and she's like, yeah, who is he? And I'm like, he's that guy in every single movie.
She's
know
like, who he was?
Oh, yeah, no, she doesn't know who That's not in her interest, her realm of interest. So yeah, Stan Lee passed away. It's very unfortunate. It's very sad. Our hearts are broken. Stan Lee. So one of the things I want to talk a little bit about, though, my favorite Stan Lee cameos, because he shows up a lot in random stuff. And I actually looked through, there's an entire list of cameos, and he's been in a lot of shit I didn't even know.
Right.
I am slightly annoyed. One downside is like the Marvel Netflix series couldn't bother to just pay to have Stan Lee show up, so they just have a photo of him that just pops up everywhere in the background. He's like a police officer, and like I think there's like they have a poster of him that says "Crime Doesn't Pay" and shit.
That's hilarious. But that's so him too, though.
Yeah.
Like if he can't show up physically, he would show up for sure in a picture.
Yeah. They've got a photo of him everywhere, but that's the one, like, I'm going to give that a, because they couldn't actually get him in there. But my favorite cameos, just for hilarity, Deadpool 2, or no, Deadpool 1, where he shows up in the strip club.
Yep.
That was amazing.
That was good.
But if you were to ask Stan Lee at that point, like, hey, what'd you think of that cameo? He was actually really, really upset, because they didn't actually put him in a strip club. They like CG'd him in, and he was like, "I wanted to be there."
Yeah, he would want to be there.
Yeah. So, and that like reminds you that Stan Lee's an adult. Like there was another one.
There was one his stripperella. He wanted to have like, stripperella.
Yeah, yeah.
He wanted to have like full on nudity in that.
Really?
Yeah, and he was kind of disappointed that they had to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, it reminds you that like Stan Lee is a man. Like he has human tendencies. So that was really, really interesting. I also really liked the Spider-Man the animated series when he showed up at the very end.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, he swings in, or like he's in there with Spider-Man. It's a really cool talk between the two. And because Spider-Man's his flagship character, it means a whole lot.
I didn't know that he showed up in the animated.
Yeah, it's so they have a whole Spider-Verse thing that happens with Madam Web.
Yeah.
Who does the voice of Madam Web, right?
Is that his wife?
That's his wife.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, when she pops up and he's like, "Who is that exotic woman?" And after that, they're talking about Stan Lee, Spider-Man, and Madam Web, and she's like, "I think he's truly special."
Oh man, I consider him everybody's favorite Grunkle Stan. Like,
he kind of is.
Yeah,
like,
he's your grandpa uncle. That's awesome, and he would look good in a fez.
I mean, I'm looking at that picture of him right now. My goodness, that mustache would look good.
One of the things that makes me happy, like that's like helped cheer me up in these past couple of days, is I'll think of him saying like the names of all of his superheroes, and it's just delightful every time just hearing him like Hulk or Spider-Man, like because he gets so exciting about everything. And then
another part of that is that it was like a whole concentration of Stan Lee for that cameo. Because right after that, she says, "Face front, true believer. We're gonna find Mary Jane." And like face front, true believer is his like what he says to the comic book readers in his comic books that he wrote. That's one of his catchphrases.
I always knew about true believers. I didn't know about the face front part. That is so cool.
Yeah.
And then I also really like him as Larry King or Hugh Hefner when he pops up in the Iron Man movies.
Yep.
I thought those were the best, like, because he just makes those characters even better. Like, Hugh Hefner is kind of a creep, but, like, when he pops up as Stan Lee, you're like, yeah.
If that had been actually Hugh Hefner, it would be less interesting than if it
was Stan Lee as
yeah.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
Stan Lee's just, I don't know, he's just one of my favorite people ever. He's always delightful. Those are my favorite cameos. Do you guys have favorite?
For my very favorite was the Spider-Man one, the Spider-Man animated series one. For the Marvel movies, I would say I think it's Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be on my list.
When he's talking to the Watchers, I think it is.
Yeah, because it confirms that theory.
And he's like, "Oh, this time I was a mailman. They had me or something like that."
Yeah. That was the Tony Stank one. Oh, the other one that I forgot about was in I want to say it's Age of Ultron, where when they're at the party and he gets fucking hammered. That is
was a really
good one.
So that one couples with the Deadpool cameo with me because it's like the idea that Stan Lee's an adult. Like you forget that he's a man, he's an adult, he has needs, he drinks. You know, it's because the first time I saw those, I was like, oh no. And then I was like, you know what? Stan Lee's a human being just like the rest of us. Like, I'm sure he's been to a strip club.
Yeah, right?
I'm sure he's gotten hammered, you know?
It's good to see him be a person. So he's more of like your Uncle Stan.
Yeah. He's like your Uncle Stan, like your lovely uncle. Like, I like to say Grunkle because he could be either your grandpa or uncle, and both are delightful thoughts. Like, just being related to Uncle Stan.
Very, very old uncle.
Yeah. Very, very old uncle. Like a great uncle for us, unfortunately.
I think his funniest cameo was Mallrats. The Mallrats cameo.
Oh yeah.
He tried to give Brody relationship advice, and then he started making shit up about how he placed himself into Dr. Doom. That was me because I was all broken up inside and had to have a mask to hide myself. The Hulk, that was me because I was full of emotion. It's because of this woman that I lost. It was all bullshit. He's just Brody's friend just tried to get him to say a bunch of stuff so he would pursue Brody's girlfriend again, pretty much.
Nice.
That's awesome.
What are some of your favorites?
I like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man series. You can say I know they're terrible. I know they're bad.
Okay.
I really like the first two.
Yeah, I was gonna say the first two are pretty good.
I love them, and he obviously appears in those, and he says into Spider-Man, and I think the first one, but it might be the second one, something like, I guess one person really can make a difference, which is like, less funny and more of like a
Yeah, it's
like I'm gonna carry that one with me, Stan. Thank you. One person, because he definitely did. Like he definitely left an impact.
Oh yeah. Well, so this kind of brings on to another thing that I wanted to talk about with all of Stan Lee's works. I would say that every character has a lesson. I can't say specifically what each one that he was intending on impacting. I can say for sure Spider-Man was great. With great power comes great responsibility. This idea of a kid who is an everyman has greatness thrusted upon him. But there's a lot of responsibility behind that, and putting that with a kid, that was such an incredible story. The other thing was the X-Men, how he tackled the civil rights movement, essentially. Okay. And that was, I mean, it was brilliant writing, and it just shows like Stan Lee falls on the side of like good and consideration, and he wanted to inspire everyone with his writing, which was, I don't know, it was beautiful. I don't know if I want to say the Hulk was about anger management issues. But when he talked, like, I loved when he talked about how he created the Hulk, because I think if you watch the Ang Lee Hulk, there's a commentary about him talking about. If you watch the DVD commentary, there's a clip of him talking about he wanted Frankenstein, something between Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Frankenstein. And that's what created the Hulk, and that's incredible. Like, everything he puts effort into is really cool. And like one thing that I really appreciated, I was watching another clip of him last night where he was talking about writing and stuff, and he says, when I see these characters up on the big screen, he goes, I don't see them as my characters. He goes, because there are so many directors and writers and actors who have put themselves into these parts as well, that I just see them as these living characters now. And he goes, and that's so cool. And it just shows him as a writer, he's very considerate of the process and how much other people have put into it. And how incredible of a person he is. Like, he's the most delightful uncle, I think.
There's speaking of, there are two thoughts. Speaking of cameos, I was watching some of, I can't remember what it was, but a lot of those 90s cartoons, the Spider-Man collections, even though we can't get them all, especially the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four 90s cartoon is very underrated.
Oh, yeah.
But he, like on the DVDs, he does intros for each episode. Talks about each episode. And one of them, he was talking about how, speaking of cameos, he recalls, like, one of the first things he wanted to do was be an actor. So...
So a lot of people were like, someone who'd be incredible to play young Stan Lee is it Tom Holland who plays Spider-Man right now? Yeah, he looks like Stan Lee when he was young.
I thought you were going to say Tom Wiseau.
But what I was thinking would be really funny is Mark Maron. If that guy could be happy. Like, I'd like to see him put some effort into it, because every time I see him, I'm like, he looks like 90s Stan Lee. I think it's Mark Maron, right? He's in Glow.
Mustache gentleman.
Yeah. He looks like Stan Lee, except for he's a grumpy Stan Lee.
He's kind of more a miserable.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd like to see him as a happy Stan Lee, because this movie is there's going to be a biopic for Stan Lee.
There has to be
any year now, like the next couple years. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. Mr. Rogers has been like the trend lately, but
Stanley beat one.
He's just fantastic.
It's good to let them to like. Usually they let them pass before they like.
Yeah, they give them some time.
On them. Yeah, like when did Rogers die? Like 14, I think.
Yeah, it was a little while ago. And then I almost lost it this morning, and it was like the shittiest Photoshop job, but it just did it where they did the Andy scene. The last Andy scene in Toy Story 3 where he gives all his toys away, but it's Stan Lee giving all of his characters to what's his name? He's in charge of Marvel right now. Kevin Feige. He's like giving all of his characters. He goes, Kevin, will you take care of them for me? And then he pulls out Woody, but it's Spider-Man, and he's like, this is my favorite. And he's like, how'd you get in here, Spider-Man? And he goes, take care of him. He wants so bad to be
chat.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Who is that?
Stan the Man. Kim Pop.
Kim Pop. Welcome. Sorry, Sorry, we got some we're getting really into our tribute to Stan here. We're getting into our tribute to Stan. My heart.
Hey guys.
Hey, who's that?
Same person.
Oh, hey! I'm sorry, I can't read where the shit. I'm gonna let you guys.
I can
Drake, you're in charge of chat.
Oh my god, put me in charge of things.
I can't see with the shit right now. The window's like right in my eyes. This is making me reconsider not having a curtain up there because my wife is like.
The curtain, I think you're probably gonna want that. I mean,
well, so I love that window because there's birds and shit flying there.
It's definitely pretty out there.
So I would say, is there a last couple tributes to Stan that I wanted to talk about? One of my favorite things he did was like a sci-fi reality show where he let people create superheroes. And at the end, their superhero was supposed to end up getting their own sci-fi movie. I think what they ended up doing was cramming them into like really bad like monster movies that sci-fi did. but it was a cool reality show. It was really, really funny. Like the second season, they ended up turning everybody into villains. Or like if you were winning, you could be a superhero, but if you started losing, you could come back as a villain. And it was a really cool idea. And Stan was just... he offered critiques on each superhero, and he would help them redesign their costumes, which was crazy.
Well, I mean, he has a lot of like knowledge, obviously.
One of the good things about him is that he'll refuse to put his name on something if he doesn't like it.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, last cameo that I really, really, I did not get to watch it, but I wanted to mention. He ended up in Teen Titans Go.
I noted, I saw that as well, and was going to mention it, but I figured you guys didn't watch Teen. I don't. It exists.
What's going on in the chat?
Oh, they're talking to each
it's
other.
Chris and Kim talking. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, good.
There's going to be I think it's A&E, and it might be coincidental, but this Sunday they unearthed an interview with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
keep an eye out,
it
guys.
It dives into, I don't know if we want to talk about it, but it dives into the feud between Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Ooh.
Because, and Kirby's probably right, or he is right, but Stan Lee didn't give, and I think it's more Marvel than Stan Lee. Stan Lee just kind of like was the spokesperson for Marvel. But they didn't give him enough credit for the development of like all the characters that,
right?
Because Jack Kirby was like hugely involved with that. Like,
yeah,
probably I would say maybe even more so than Stan Lee for a lot of the characters.
So like the thing that Stan was talking about during that writing interview too was like a lot of the artists had a lot to do with it as well. Like it wasn't just him. Yeah. Like and he didn't mention Jack in that interview, but you know. So that's
Jack
interesting.
Did most of it, like up until Spider-Man, like Fantastic Four, Hulk, he did a lot of it. And what's really tricky about it, and it's debatable, like how much input both of them had. Like how much is Stan Lee, how much is Jack Kirby? I mean, nobody knows because they didn't really keep records back then. It's a fledgling company almost at the beginning of it.
Oh wow.
But yeah, no one knows for sure. And Stan Lee, like, is just like since like I would say the 90s, 80s, and 90s has been like really pushing for everybody else. Like, oh, don't team effort type stuff, which is more than you can say for. I could talk about Stan Lee this all day, but more than you can say for Bob Kane though, because anything like 20 years ago and before, Batman created by Bob Kane.
Oh yeah, well
but
there was
Finger,
a big thing.
Finger was like hugely. He designed everything. He came up with almost everything for Batman.
Yeah, I think they just had like a thing with that a little bit ago with Batman. So guys, I think we're gonna be moving on to the nerdy news real quick. One more tiny little thing. Real quick though, guys, if you guys want to drop any of your thoughts, what are your favorite cameos of Stan Lee? What are some of your favorite things that he created? Maybe something obscure if you can think of it. Just drop it in the chat here, or put it in the YouTube comments if you're watching this on YouTube. So okay, one more little thing, and then we're gonna address this big comment over here.
But the reason why it's not like you can't totally believe Kirby is because his stance changes. So like I was researching a lot of Stan Lee last night. And naturally. But Kirby was like, I did everything. I wrote everything. Stan Lee was just like an office person who would like, even things that he wrote, somebody else wrote, and he would just put his name on it. Okay. But he would say that, but then in like the interview that's going to be aired, which was before then, he was like, well, I wrote some stuff too, because there was some debate as to what was even written. And somebody brought up, like, the Galactus speech, and Stan's like, I'll say this. Every word in those stories were mine. And then Kirby's like, well, actually, I had these, like, I wrote some dialogue, like, at the side of the drawings, because that's how he would write. Like, that's his process. He would write the dialogue, and then Stan. But then Stan was like, yeah, but they weren't published. They weren't in the stories. So
well,
it seems
fun.
like Stan really did, like, write all of it.
Let's see if we
like,
can read
his
this.
development,
do you want me to read
Kirby's
that to you?
involvement.
I can.
Up for debate.
Okay, they're just a bunch of nerdy people talking about nerdy stuff.
I'm okay with that description.
Oh, he's dropping a... Is that Kim Pop? Yeah, that was Kim. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Kim. Thank you. Okay.
But yeah, I could talk about Stanley all day.
You know, I need to make sure, because I didn't see if that... Follow alert, and then Twitter's down below. Okay, yeah, so the follow alert will pop up over the Twitter. That's good. Okay. So, yeah, so again, guys, drop some of your favorite Stan Lee stuff so we can talk about it. But we're going to move on to the nerdy news for this week. So, just a little cue for what's coming up. I'm going to be doing a review on Red Dead after this. Okay, so, nerdy news this week. All right, so Game of the Year has been the Game of the Year. Nominees have been announced in all the categories. Really, the only ones that matter right now: Game of the Year, God of War, Red Dead 2, and Spider-Man are up. So I've been telling people for weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, Red Dead 2 is like the shoe-in for Game of the Year. I'm like, yeah, and then I forgot about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's
God
really
of War.
good.
So I'm like, oh shit! Like, I've been talking out my ass because I forgot. Like, I completely forgot about Spider-Man. I haven't touched Spider-Man, but it's been one that people have been equally as obsessed about.
Oh yeah.
It's one that I want to play. God of War, same thing. Like, people. It was a big thing when it came out. People were obsessed. Each of these games had their own amount of time too to really put into. I think the disadvantage that Red Dead 2 has is it just came out.
Yeah.
So whenever it comes to votes, I don't know. I really don't know.
Who got it last year?
Breath of the Wild got it
last year. I was shrieking
year.
all of the end of last year. If Breath of the Wild doesn't win, this fucking Game of the Year doesn't even matter.
Well, fucking Super Mario Odyssey, I think, was up against it, and I was like, I don't know.
I have both of those games in my house, and I'll tell you, Super Mario Odyssey is not.
Kim Pop says Spooderman should cameo in Red Dead. Chris says we pretty much covered Stan, so okay. Okay, so yeah, Game of the Year is up. Some notes, mobile, Fallout, nope, not Fallout, sorry, for mobile, Fortnite is up for mobile, and PUBG is up for mobile. I don't like that, but I don't care about mobile enough,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, and then multiplayer game, again, you've got Fortnite, and they're facing off with Black Ops. So I don't know. I honestly, I don't have enough care. But if you guys have enough care, let me know what you guys are hoping is going to win what this year. They're also doing a lot of esports awards.
Really?
Yeah, they're doing like best esports event, best esports host, best esports player, best esports game, and then they're also doing a best entertainer. And a lot of Twitch streamers are popping up on there.
Be good Madden again.
Ninja's up there for best entertainer. So I don't know. If he doesn't win, I'd be surprised. What do we got? K-pop. Fortnite Mobile is only help with natural selection. Only kids who play Fortnite will play it while crossing the street. Oh.
I did.
Christopher J for Game of the Year. Thank you.
There's a hitting Grinnell College kid problem on the way here, I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I almost plastered this one girl until someone saved her life. Like, I literally watched it in front of me because I was coming around that corner and a guy went, like, pulled her out of the way, and she looked at the guy like, what are you doing? And I was like, I almost killed you. Like, I
don't... in college, though. I was ready to go all of college.
So the thing about it here is so we're an Iowa podcast, and we're small town Iowa. So here's all I'm going to say. Like, it is polite to like look both ways. In other places where like especially busier cities, like if they hit you, it's still your fault or it's still their fault even if you're crossing the street. Here, no, you're an idiot. You deserve to be hit by a car. Like that's just how it is. So we have that problem. I hit a kid that was playing Fortnite. I did him the service of Fortnite dancing at his funeral.
You can't do like
Kim Pop, you're a fucking treasure. Thank you. Okay, so Game of the Years are in. So Netflix, they're doing all their Christmas stuff. They're talking about what Christmas movies are coming out here soon. They've got Christmas Chronicles, which is Cool Santa with Kurt Russell. That's what I'm calling that. But Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is getting a Christmas episode.
No shit.
I watched that.
I can't get a fucking Doctor Who Christmas episode, but goddamn Sabrina.
Yeah.
Sabrina gets it. Oh, hey, hello. What's the question? I'm a walking mountain with eyes like a ride bike. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? Apple juice from plastic. Hey, apple juice from plastic. The question is, what are you talking about? Kim Pop, you're a fucking treasure. Okay. Toy Story 4 trailers come out. They've got a new character named Forky.
That's a spoon. I don't yell. But
I know he has spikes on the top of his head. I don't think you can see
Is
him.
he a spork?
Yeah, he might be a
spork.
spork.
It's a spork.
So-
It's not a spoon.
So this part of the trailer really opened up questions for me. Can cutlery in the Toy Story universe talk? Like, can you talk to the silverware and the dishes? Or is it until you are animated into a character, you do not have life?
I think it's
At what point is it a toy?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, I
we're
think
gonna have
that's
to
what
pull
it
into
is.
the mythology.
He
of Toy
fully
Story.
exclaims, "I am not a toy," and runs off in this trailer.
Somebody must think that he is.
So did Buzz, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
that's
And then another teaser was released. Key and Peele play some stuffed animals. They razz on a little bit about To Infinity and Beyond, and then they give Buzz shit for that not making sense,
Nice.
which is absolutely hilarious.
Man, it's been a while since we've seen Key and Peele.
Yeah, they dropped in there, and they were fantastic. I lost my shit, man. That was a funny trailer. So if you
I have
haven't...
my, reservations about
what the
that
fork
movie.
is that? It's a spork. I thought because of the...
It looks like
it
a
was
weird
kind of
condom
weird
to me.
condom.
Yeah,
It
it
does.
looks like
Turn it off at the bottom there.
It's like a shriveled up condom. I don't know.
I tell in codes I have my own shopping list. Oh, cool. Apple Juice has like a code shit. Apple Juice, keep dropping some cool shit like that. I dig it. But yeah, the trailers, they've released a couple teasers. Toy Story 4 looks like another Toy Story. I'm excited. You know, so they said. So here's the thing, and a bunch of like things have come out as well where they're saying that like Tim Allen and Tom Hanks have both said they've watched the movie and that the ending has been extremely emotional. And I'm like,
Good.
did you guys just not watch Toy Story 3 until just
Yeah,
now?
right?
Because
Like-
that fucking scarred me.
I've never wanted to cry in a theater before that day.
Yeah.
I was just like, they're gonna die? Is this how it ends? Like this, I had the same reaction as I did with Infinity War, except Infinity War followed through. Like I was like,
they did die.
Sort of.
so I don't know. And then so the next big topic of the week, which we found out almost immediately after we found out Stan Lee passed away, Detective Pikachu trailer was dropped this week featuring Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu and Justice Smith as his
Trainer, maybe?
cohort. Not really trainer. Like he's
No,
even said,
no,
like,
no,
I am
yeah.
not your trainer. There's a point where
Yeah.
he yells at him and he goes, I know. Like,
I think that has potential to be the first live action good video game adaptation.
that's what I think. And here's the thing about it. So it is a cool story that is written into the universe that is still completely separate from all the basics. Like this isn't them trying to remake the original Pokemon story into a story.
But this is a good
This
foot
is-
in the door.
Yeah, this
for
is
doing
them
other shit.
putting their foot in the door and doing some cool shit. But some highlights from this, fucking Charizard was cool.
Oh yeah.
My
Jigglypuff
dad...
looks creepy as shit.
Yeah, Jigglypuff. I about died with that Jigglypuff scene because I can say none other than that man that was passed out next to him was a victim.
These Avengers
Like, Jigglypuff looked all maniacal. No, he's going to
Yeah.
marker his ass up is what he's going to do. Because that's what he does is he sings to you pops the top off and then fucking draws all over
That
your
was
face.
a marker. I thought it was like he took a
It's a
bottle of beer
microphone.
that he smashed in half. He was gonna shank him with it.
No, it's a microphone that pops off and it's a marker top and he draws on you. That's what he does in the cartoon, I guess.
It's a beer bottle.
So he goes
smashed in half.
So he drops it and then he gets all maniacal and I was like, damn, like Jigglypuff, that's Jigglypuff. Like
Alex
they nailed
Jones, Detective Pikachu should have been voiced by Danny DeVito or Alex Jones.
it. I would dig Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Do you think
God.
Disney will ever make a Toy Story about people finding out toys that talk and move? That's Toy Story 1, Sid. Sid found out the Toy Stories talk, or the toys talk. So, Detective Pikachu looks amazing, though, and if you haven't watched the trailer, go check it out.
At first, I thought that
I lost my
Danny DeVito-
damn mind.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, well,
I'm
I
really
heard
excited.
Danny DeVito, like, there was a Danny DeVito rumor, and then there was
There's a
Ryan
petition.
Reynolds.
There's a
I did not
petition
see
Yeah.
to
Ryan
get
Reynolds
DeVito.
coming at all.
And
Ryan
so,
Reynolds is perfect for it, I think.
yeah, well, so they announced it, and then I thought they were talking about the game, and they came out with the game, and I'm like, that's not Ryan Reynolds at all. And then they just released this trailer, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
And it looks so good.
it's perfect.
Like it looks perfect. It's set in the Pokemon universe. Like I don't even care. I just want it.
By one of the main writers.
So they became Trash Man.
He was the garbage
True.
man.
Yeah, he was the
Agree.
garbage man.
So what I keep saying to people is, I'm like, hey, did you hear they finally released a name for the PG-13 Deadpool movie? Detective Pikachu.
Nice. Some highlights of what people have been doing. Someone actually recut all the lines with Danny DeVito instead of Ryan Reynolds, so that was really cool. And then
Nice.
someone actually took out all the lines as like Ryan Reynolds playing Detective Pikachu and put in Deadpool lines. There's actually a really great moment where he's like, "Can you hear what he's saying?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, Pika Pika Pika." And then he just goes, "I'm touching myself," like that part. So that was highly entertaining.
The person who wrote it, one of the main people that wrote it, wrote Guardians of the Galaxy, and it definitely has a bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy humor about it, I think.
Adam Sandler for Pikachu using his Waterboy voice.
Oh my god.
Kim Pop, you're a fucking treasure. Thank you.
Oh my god, I do that.
Okay. Exile and Obsidian Studios. Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas and In Exile, I think, is what they're called. They made Wasteland 2 and are working on Wasteland 3. They have been bought by the Xbox company, so they're obtaining more original studios.
So Xbox isn't dead. They haven't moved in a year and a half.
They're taking every penny of all the money that they have and they're just dumping it into buying studios and hoping that they can pump out some good exclusives eventually.
They
So
got rare, but
they've come around. It's just you're not going to see the effects for a couple of years, which is unfortunately. I can't wait to be disappointed by Fallout 76. I've heard it's really bad too. There's reviews coming out and they're like, yeah, it's not good.
The more I hear about it, similar to Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, the more I hear, the more I'm like, just try it, Drake. Just give it a go. It might be good.
I'm not touching
excited.
Fallout 76.
I'm excited about Let's Go, but I mean, I want to play the first one with my wife, and it's just the first one, right? So
Yeah.
it'll serve my purpose.
It's a great idea.
I'm definitely going to buy it and play the. I mean, I have so much about Pokemon over here. My Pokemon knowledge is so deep. There's nothing I don't
So
know.
deep.
I haven't even finished the first one. I'm 9/10 of the way through it. But then when that got announced, I was like, you know what? I'll just wait until my wife can catch up, and we'll just play it together.
Kim says any game that is 100% player driven is going to be dead within a year. I agree. I think you have to be really, really careful. The only thing that's doing a good job is Fortnite, in a sense that they keep themselves alive by doing season shit that I still don't understand.
Yeah, I
'cause
have no
don't
idea
play
how
it.
that works.
I don't play it, so sorry. Crackdown 3 has been announced.
What the fuck is Crackdown?
Crackdown. First of all, okay, so if you own an Xbox One, they are giving it away until November 30th. They're giving away the first game. The first game is it's like Grand Theft Auto with superpowered cops. And so everything
shit,
that you
I don't
do
know.
upgrades your points, shooting, driving, every time you get in a car. So if you get in one of your agency vehicles, it upgrades the car, for whatever your status is, the car fucking transform
Nice.
into whatever it does. They even have for your family operated super cops, they have SUVs, but they have like a tank, which is a semi truck that turns basically into a tank, and then they have like a super fast car. They have all sorts of crazy shit. Crackdown is one of my favorite games. Crackdown 1, because the variety of villains are really good. Crackdown 2 was puke garbage bullshit, because they upgraded all the superpowers. You could even fucking fly at one point if you upgrade your jump to the maximum, but then they wiped out all the variety in villains. Because like the first game, you go to Chinatown, you go to like a Russian run mob type area, and then you go to then there's your basic like Hispanic like hood type bad guys,
like your
so like your US gangs, more like
the Latin Kings.
Yeah, so that a lot of variety, and each boss that you fought had a story, a background. They were good at their own thing. Right. You know, you had to find different ways to kill them. The hardest one was the damn Olga bitch that was hiding up in the mountains with a rocket launcher, because you had to like I found out all you had to do was throw a grenade though up into that hole she's in, because she's surrounded by explosives.
Oh, okay.
I blew her the shit out of the hole. But Crackdown 3 they've been working on forever. To tell you guys a little bit of a story, I've been working. Like, the only reason why I own an Xbox One is because when I got hired on to do a video game TV show in Des Moines for a while, they were like, you know, my co-host had had a PS4, so I was like, I'll get an Xbox One. I can play the exclusives that come out for that never came out.
Right, like it could.
And I was like, and I can review Crackdown 3. And the show was canceled before I could review Crackdown 3. So February 13th, we get Crackdown 3. Is it February 13th? Let's go all the way down my list here. Oh, I'm on the other side of my paper.
Thing in right over there. Finally.
I know. Well, I still play it because I can't afford a PS4 right now.
Whenever I hear you talk
February 15th.
Whenever I hear you talk about Crackdown, immediately I start thinking about the Sega Genesis Crackdown game.
I've never heard of this.
What?
It's probably unrelated, but it's a pretty good game. It's a top-down shooter type thing.
This is just, I mean, this game looks incredible.
Crackdown series still around? Oh, no,
completely
not.
Destructible environments. The downside of Crackdown 3, though, is going to be the fact that they're going to force you to, like, kill other stuff. Jay and his nerdy mode. I think
I was thinking about going like notebook, and I was going to note cards, but I would go like old man legal pad.
Kim Pop wants cancer research notes. Update: cancer's still bad.
I've got a cousin who's currently getting mice ovarian cancer and trying to cure that. It's not going very well.
No,
not at all.
Especially for the mice, I imagine.
No, probably terrible. The worst for the mice, I would imagine.
Moving on. Kevin Feige said that Avengers 4, right now, the edit is about 3 hours long.
Yeah, nice.
And that you won't see a trailer until next year. So
I wish I could see a trailer, but
like, fuck!
I mean, they do have to, like, something I've always said about, especially, like, Disney and Star Wars, it takes a little bit to make a good fucking story.
Yeah.
And a good fucking...
Netflix, well, okay, so to be fair, though, like, next year is, like, a month and a half away, so I can wait it.
Okay.
I've waited this long. I've waited since Infinity War, which... longest year of my life so far. And the thought is like, So there was that story that some guy died in the middle of Infinity War, or maybe at the end. But I'm thinking if you died right after the end of Infinity War and you're like a Marvel fan, that's how Marvel ended for you. Can you imagine that? Like, prospectively?
That would be insane.
That's horrible. Stan Lee, that's how Marvel ended for him. Like, I hope someone showed him a cut of the movie at least.
He knows what was going on. What the story was.
If he read the books.
Or even cared. Or even cared.
Like we were saying, they have taken like what was his, and like so many people dipped their pins in now that
that's true.
He might be a little bit. He may have been towards the end a little bit.
Sorry,
like that's hardly even fun anymore.
Something really cool about that interview was it took place right dap in the middle of Watchmen. Like when it first came through.
Yeah, okay.
And just to show you how good of taste Stan Lee had, they asked him what he thought of modern ones. He's like, oh, there's some good new ones. You know, I'm really enjoying Watchmen. It's like, holy shit, Stanley's talking about Watchmen. That's awesome.
All right. The Final Fantasy director. Let's see what his name is, if I can read this. It is Hajime Tabata? Okay. The director of Final Fantasy 15. He stepped down. He's left the company.
Really?
Which means if you were waiting for the other 3 out of the 4 DLCs from Final Fantasy, I'm sorry, but they're canceling all of them. So, sorry. I hope you didn't buy a season pass, or if you did, they gave you some kind of awesome shit for it. Yeah, but yeah, he's done. And then the final thing for today, the N64 Classic Mini is said to be announced here soon.
Just in time for Christmas.
The big rumor is they might be adding like a Lost Zelda DLC or something, like for Ocarina of Time. Maybe not a DLC, but like a lost level or something like that.
I saw
like for Ocarina of Time.
Like this.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but like, because so it would follow suit with what they did with the SNES Classic, where they put Star Fox 2 on there. So it would follow suit for them to put shit in there that doesn't.
It's a little disappointing for me because I wasn't going to buy it, but if there's some Zelda stuff, I might have to buy it.
I've got nerdy notes.
Nick and his musical voice. So yeah, so I mean, I'm interested, but I don't know. I don't know what to think, honestly. So I guess the question that I would ask is like, is there anything on the N64 like that may have like never come out that was supposed to that you guys would want to see? I don't.
It's such a party system. What I'd like to see is 4 controller slots in the beginning of that mini. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if they don't have 4 controller slots, they're idiots. But they're going to sell
right.
each controller separately. I
They'd
know that.
to.
You're going to have to get the first
to.
controller. So, guys, let me know if there's anything that you guys wanted to hear about in the Nerdy News segment. And then also, what, like, N64 mini stuff, what kind of stuff were you excited about? That's what I hate about modern day gaming. Oh, bought a season pass. Oh, bought an episodic series. Oh, supporting us through development in this game. Meh, it's your money and this service you pay for. We don't owe you shit.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad movie. Oh yeah, there's supposed to be a Breaking Bad movie.
What?
It's supposed to create a happy ending for Jesse Pinkman, I think, too, is what they said.
I like the ending.
Yeah, I don't. Just leave it alone.
He seemed pretty happy at the end of that show.
Just like, it's probably best to not know with Jesse.
Yeah.
I have found.
Because he's going to have to go through some shit to make it interesting. Just leave him alone.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
not interested.
Sure, the phone ain't ringing for Aaron Paul, but that ain't my job.
Yeah, well, that was because of his shitty Need for Speed movie.
You know what? That's true. That's true.
Oh, man.
Fucked up on that signing deal.
Sometime.
Well, no, he does some really good stuff on the side. There was some indie movie I watched about suicide that was amazing.
BoJack Horseman. That's pretty good.
He's in BoJack?
Yeah, he's the main character other than Horseman.
Oh,
he's
who's
a sidekick?
Oh. Okay, well, I was gonna say the main character is BoJack Horseman, which is
it's not
Will Arnett.
It's not Will Arnett.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, that's the nerdy news for this week. I guess we can move on to our next topic, Red Dead 2. So, all right, I'm gonna give
probably have like some serious notes.
I'm gonna give this the review treatment.
I'm guessing it's pretty good.
Well, okay, so yeah, I mean, it's been getting 10 out of 10, and it deserves it. It is a fantastic game.
I really want
all of the gameplay is fun. So the way that I'll break this down, the level of detail I think is the biggest highlight for this game. Everyone is talking about anywhere from, of course, horse testicles and pooping to to just like how much like you have animals that decompose. You have all this stuff. All he does is cry, create issues, and get people killed. Oh, are you talking about Jesse?
Yeah, I was watching it for the 3rd time. I think I've seen it about 3 times. So I think that's a fair assessment.
Unpopular opinion, Badger's the greatest character of that show.
Oh, Badger.
When he sells meth to a cop, I think it's DJ Qualls on a park
Oh,
bench,
yeah.
You gotta tell me if you're a cop.
and then immediately gets arrested. Yeah.
He's good. I like his Star Trek fanfic about do you remember that one about the eating contest?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Badger still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So back to my Red Dead Redemption 2 review. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the graphics are fantastic. The detail, everything's great. Like, if you kill an animal, it will decompose over time.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
the way that your hair
Nice.
grows, you have to shave, otherwise you'll be able to grow. You can cut from your chin, your mustache, and then from your chops in different lengths.
Cool.
So you can kind of design from that level. Your hair grows as well. You have to go to the barber to get it cut. you have to have items to make things work. Like I kept seeing this option to add pomade to my hair, but I didn't have any pomade. So I was like, oh, why is this not working? And I was like, it says like, oh, you don't have any pomade, dumbass. I was like, oh, clean your guns, but you have to have gun oil. There's this amazing small detail. Like if you so sometimes there are witnesses that witness things that happen. So you have to chase them down, and I hog tie them, and then I just leave them. So either they die, or you find them later on. I found one guy later on. I could not figure out for the longest time why he was just straight up running from me. It's like, ah! And I was like, hey, come back here. What's your problem? And so I realized I hog tied his ass at one point. There's also so I did this whole mission where I killed a fuckload of people, and then I stayed back at the cabin to go through everything, and they left me behind. Lawmen walked by, saw the dead bodies, started exploring, picking up the dead bodies to take them back, and caught me.
You should have got out of there.
They caught me in the scene. Well, I was like, all of a sudden I was like, you're wanted. People are investigating the area. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're walking around. And what was best is I put on my bandana and I snuck in the corner, and the door opened. And I'm still visible next to the door. The guy walks up to the table in the middle of the room, looks around, walks right past me, and goes back outside. So the AI still hasn't quite figured out stealth mechanics.
I love it.
But I was still just this game's detail is really good. The story is really, really cool. You actually grew up with John Marsden and Dutch. Dutch raised you and John. So you guys are kind of like brothers, and you kind of hate each other a little bit, which is cool. This guy is more of where John is the spaghetti western Clint Eastwood style character. You are more of the Robert Redford Marlboro Man style, buffer, gruffer.
Okay.
When you punch, the way that the physics works, punching and knocking people out, it's just so it's just so realistic and so detailed. Fighting is intense. Whenever I fight in a game, usually you're this kick-ass character. It's blah, 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 the person's down. Yeah. But here, you don't know if you're going to win in this boxing match or not. You're still not sure, And then the same thing with goes with the intensity of I was attacked by a grizzly bear. And every time I'm attacked by a grizzly bear, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through that moment, and it's intense. They do not give you a quick kill option. It's thing mauls your ass for a little while, and then you get a couple and then it mauls you a little longer, you get a couple, and there's even points where you're laying shots on that bear before it comes at you, and it still takes it like a champ. So the detail in this game is beautiful. The physics are the only thing in this game that do not follow suit as well. And also, I consider this a plus. So if you are considering buying this game, buy it now while the physics still don't quite work. Because there are some amazing moments. My horse hit a rock, and the guy riding my horse just kind of stepped off. And I went whoosh right in the air like a Skyrim character that just got hit by a giant. I was
became part of the Skyrim.
And he was oh! It was cool too, because it was one of those slow-mo scenes where someone gets launched up and his legs and arms are flailing. It was a cool thing, but the physics just don't quite make sense yet.
Okay.
And so horses, we still haven't figured out horses yet. I don't think, but that's one of my favorite parts of the game. What should be a minus is more of a plus. I absolutely love it. What?
Better Call Saul, I believe is what we're talking
about.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played this game, the other thing I don't like are the controls. That's one thing I don't like is the controls. The controls are becoming so detailed, it's hard to remember everything. I still can't figure out how to get behind a rock.
What are you playing this on?
I'm playing it on Xbox One. Okay. This is the first game also that is 2 discs. It takes an hour to install. And then it's 2 discs. It's the first one I've seen on this generation of consoles that is 2 discs. It's massive. It's 100 gigabytes. And then a 20 gig update.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it's a massive game. It really is. But it is worth every penny. It's worth every gig. It is worth every second of waiting that hour. It is a lot of fun. The game, interestingly enough, forces you to just slow down and soak everything up. Whereas every other game, like GTA 5, they said it's a fast-paced game.
Which it is.
Yeah, your breakneck speed is just flying through this game, and it forces you through the story as fast as it can. This game, holds you back. There's a reason why it's a 60-hour campaign at least, because you are just soaking up every little detail, even during the mission, like the story missions.
Okay.
So there's a point where like I got sat down and was playing poker, and I actually got caught up playing poker in the game. Poker's like very intuitive in that game, and it's very easy and very fun.
I would be playing a lot. Fishing in Zelda, you get sometimes.
Yeah. There's fishing in this game too. I haven't gotten to fishing yet.
That's as far as I'd make it.
There's fishing, there's hunting.
Yeah, it took me probably 300 hours probably to get through that campaign, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, it's huge, it's massive, but it's fun. Everything you do can be really, really fun. It's just controls a little bit. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally murdered someone, but I have a couple of really good recordings of this one guy is drunk and I was in a fist fight with him and I accidentally hit the button that switched over to a knife and I just chest stabbed him and he was down and I was like, oh fuck.
You should do that in other fights, maybe.
Yeah. And there was another dude that was like hanging off a cliff and I went to help him up and then I was like, okay, wait, I'm going to point my gun at him and see if I can get what I want out of him. And then I was like, oh, I'll just put my gun away. And then I shot him on accident and he fell off the cliff and died. So if I were to give this game Jake gambling, I can't imagine it, especially in video games. Yeah, so if I were to give this game, because the old review system that I did on Game Changers, which I'm going to adopt here, is a buy, borrow, or bypass. So buy as in just pay the full $60. Borrow, you could either borrow from a friend or maybe even rent, and then bypass being just don't even touch it. I'm going to give this a buy. I would say pay full $60 too. I wouldn't even pay a discounted rate on this because this game is worth all of the support that they put into this game.
Really?
Yeah, it is. There are certain games like Breath of the Wild that is worth every penny, and there are certain games that I would wait to spend my money on.
Yeah.
I can't remember any specific examples right now, but this game is $60 worth of content. Like it's 100% fills it up. So buy this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try after I get a new car.
Yeah. I was gonna say, don't go broke. Also, make sure you have like free time. Like if you have a week's vacation, something like that. I don't know. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic. We're gonna be talking about the SNK collection. This is gonna be Nick's topic.
Nick, it out if you want.
Yeah, Nick got the SNK collection. Is that the Ultimate Edition or
this is the Fancy Edition?
The Fancy Edition. You want me to hold it up like a John Hughes?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, maybe not.
Here, let's put it like.
Here, I'll take it.
Let's put it right
so
here.
I'll open it up and show you. First
Okay, we'll
see
do
what's
that.
in there.
Yeah,
this is like I'd say $65.
That's not bad
for the super fan. They still, unlike Nintendo, they still have these. And even the cardboard box is nice. It's got all the artwork.
Yeah, it's got a lot of really cool artwork to it.
So
I should look up what this was. For some reason, I heard SNK and my mind went to a dirty place. I'm like, that sounds kinky.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, I mean, look at the artwork.
It's a little kinky.
Little postcards.
Just a little kinky.
This
is like 14-year-old porn right here.
It's like I was talking to you about Gurren Lagann, which is like the most anime that's ever animated. And that lady character on the front. Very Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
And yeah, any special edition with its all will have the soundtrack, and the music is awesome in this. By the way, I haven't opened the soundtrack, but you put on the game and you can just go to the museum, and then go to all of the music in all the games.
Okay.
Displayed.
I was gonna say it's probably kind of like what they're planning on doing with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a nice art book full of all the details of the games. And
nice.
what's cool about this, what drew me into buying this was it has the Nintendo NES version of the games and the arcade ones. And something about SNK is that the games kind of suck on Nintendo. Like Ikari Warriors. That game's terrible. No offense to anybody that likes it, but it's terrible. But the arcade one's actually pretty good. So you get to compare and contrast pretty easily. Rick gets perverted a little.
I'm a little perverted.
Soke G. I haven't seen Soke G in like a couple of weeks. I'm worried about Soke.
Maybe he died.
Oh.
Don't say that. We can't be having more people. We can't be losing.
We can't lose another one.
If we lost Chris, I'd cancel the show. I don't think I'd keep going.
Yeah, it's
I don't know, but Kim could be the new Chris. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
yeah.
Not that Kim's better than you, Chris.
Kim seems pretty cool.
Or Chris is better than you, Kim. We value all of you.
Everybody has their own special thing.
Pretty extensive history on SNK altogether.
Okay, so let's talk about SNK so people can kind of understand what, if they don't know.
Well,
what it is.
I came at it thinking about fighting games. I forgot all the old school like Nintendo games, arcade games. And it's mostly like war games, shoot 'em ups, kind of like type games. But I knew them from like I think they did King of Fighters and stuff like that.
Is that just a company then that makes games?
Yeah, it's a company.
Okay.
That makes games.
Do you know what SNK stands for?
I do not. I never knew.
Okay, it's Japanese. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I was like looking it up because hearing any video game thing that I've never heard of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shin Nihon Kikaku.
Yeah.
That's obviously. My American accent butchered version. Okay. All right. Okay.
But yeah, they got they have the Japanese versions as well as the American versions of each game in the set. It's ridiculous. Chat
versus streamers. Oh god. You replace me? Okay, then goodbye forever. Let's fight them. Kim, you're fucking treasure. Thank you. Okay, so
I would say it's not worth buying unless you have an interest in old school 80s arcade games. But if you do, then it's totally worth the money.
Well, let's talk about can you share controllers when you're playing this? Like, is this one that you can split?
No, it's very arcade, so most of them are co-op. Like
okay,
co-op
so
I'm not sure if they're. I still haven't gotten the online service for Switch, so I don't know about that. But
well, I just meant like, can you can you play with
alternate?
2 Joy-Cons rather than just one?
Oh yeah.
You haven't gotten Sarah into sit down and play with you.
I was like, we're gonna review this, Sarah, so you gotta play this with me. But then I start playing. She's like, I'm gonna get my book from upstairs. So I haven't tested that yet. From the Steam, it looks like you can't. It looks like you have to put them together or get a.
That's a shame because that's what you need is like you need to be able to pop Joy-Cons. That's what makes the Switch.
What you can do on it is
treasure.
Like it would work pretty well if it was just the arcade deck, but you can modify it. There's like a rewind button too, or like if you die, you can rewind it and then avoid how you died. If you want
to. Okay. I thought it was like just a replay. I'm like, that's actually kind of cool to be able to replay your death.
Did you guys ever play Prince of Persia?
Yeah.
You die and you're like, nope. Back it up.
That was probably my favorite mechanic ever because I suck at platformers, so they give you that ability.
You walk right the hell off a ledge and you're like, I need some sand just so I can not be an idiot.
And then you have to like pin your guys down to suck the sand out of their bodies.
Prince of Persia did.
They Prince of Persia. Well, apparently Prince of Persia SNK'd it. Last words, fuck bitches, get money.
I used to yell that. There was a dude that I worked with at McDonald's, and he would be in the bathroom, and from our kitchen, there was a vent that went directly to our bathrooms. I would scream, fuck bitches, get money, in the hope that there wasn't like a customer trying to take a piss, and they're in there, and they just hear from our kitchen, fuck bitches, get money!
That is a thing, like our bathroom can pick up noise from the kitchen, so you can't talk shit about people when you're near that wall because you don't know people are hearing you talk shit about them as they're shitting. So so is there more to talk about for
there's a lot of games that were never released here.